The St. John's University Queens campus prides itself on its wide-ranging representation of ethnicities, races, and cultures. And while it is the fourth most ethnically diverse university in the country, there may exist a racial divide among students. So the question is, are students benefiting from cross-cultural interactions, or does the student body reveal a segmented unity?
They come into St. John's because they love it. But one, people didn't go out. They love St. John's diversity. They love St. John's multicultural climate. But how often do you really go out to experience that? To me, it's all about step out of comfort zone. So once you have...
Graduate student Bill Pham touched on the lack of awareness among the student body that often creates tension between social groups.
But, for example, Trayvon Martin comes up, Michael Brown came up, and I see that there was a huge contention between, black students and white students, and the conflict among them are kind of like how to resolve this one.
The Presidential Multicultural Advisory Committee held a cultural roundtable on November 4th to give students in leadership positions the opportunity to voice their concerns about cultural issues around campus.
28 student organizations were represented at the Cultural Roundtable, and they exchanged ideas about collaboration, inclusivity, awareness, and events that would invite the executive boards for all student organizations. Their conversations revolved around two discussion questions. How can student leaders create atmospheres that are conducive to race and gender-based discussions? And what further initiatives can be taken to promote a more culturally aware student body?
Do that. It's by exposure and by being the one to take the first step. You have to be willing to tell your friends, to tell other people, guys, let's all do this. Right now, what we did is we became a group for maybe at least an hour. We became a group at that moment, and what we're going to do is go back as individuals, and we're going to go as individuals to these groups and try to make them part of the larger group.
There are different factors that contribute to the reluctance for crossing cultural boundaries. According to some student leaders, common experiences attributed to culture and heritage create the comfort zones that students find hard to break away from.
I think it comes from something deeper than just before they even enter the school. I think it comes from where you grew up. Someone said it before. Where you grew up, like what your ideals are, your own family beliefs and your traditions. And when you come into a school like St. John's, where it's this diverse, it's easy to feel uncomfortable with people you don't know in terms of heritage, in terms of age, in terms of all these kind of aspects.
St. John's actually, like I said, back the mission driven, and we also very student service centered. So everything at the end of the day, we work for students. The entire diverse environment bring the respect. I don't like to talk about tolerance. I talk about acceptance. So there's no tolerance. What do you mean tolerance? Tolerance, that means you still have unwillingness. So we're not tolerate. That's work on acceptance, because your college.
The segregation on campus is also a social justice issues. And one very good thing about St. John's, from my own experience, is that you can actually participate and take leadership roles. So as long as you're proactive and if you feel passionate about these issues and you want to change about this, you want to improve this, you have the opportunity to do that.